And we are back in the world of math, and we are excited today. Today's lesson is brought to you by pirates because R is the pirate's favorite thing. And we're going to be talking a lot about R today, in more specifically radius. So let's take a look at the cylinder and figuring out how to calculate its surface area. So let's take a look at a couple things here really quickly. We know a few things from before, or if you kind of forget, let's recap real quick. We know that a radius is halfway from the middle of a circle to the outside. Okay, that's the radius. We know that diameter is the entire way across. Okay, if we're trying to figure out the area of a circle, we are going to be going pi, which is 3.14, blah, 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 blah. It's a huge number. It never ends. It's really fancy. You're impressive if you know a lot of numbers on it. In our answer keys, you're going to see just using 3.14, just because not everybody has fancy calculators. They can hit the pi button, and it's just kind of like a simpler route for us. But if you're using the pi button, or if you have pi memorized to like the 17th digit and you want to use that for all your calculating, that's totally cool. Your number is going to be slightly off from us, but you'll know that's probably close enough in the answer key. Okay, so we got pi. Now, another thing here, you're going to see this area calculation is pi times r squared. Now, r squared, let's just be clear, is not r times 2. It is actually r times r. Okay, that often is mistaken, so let's just make sure that when you see that squared, it just means times itself again. Okay, it's not saying times 2, it's saying times itself again. Okay, so we've got our area, which would calculate all the space, how much space it takes up, right? Whatever that area is. On the other side, we have our circumference, which would be all the way around the outside. Think of circumference as a big game of duck, duck, goose, right? You don't just like run around the entire thing. You run all the way around the outside. That's what we're looking for with circumference. So we have pi times diameter. And so if you had a circle and you only knew the radius, that's a little bit off, but forgive it. That would be your radius. In this case, you would need to double your radius to get the diameter. So you have pi times 2 times r. So in this case, if you had a radius of 2, your diameter would be 4, because if half of the way across is 2, the other half of the way across would be 2. Okay, a little recap there for us. So hopefully we are good there. So let's take a look at surface area here, utilizing a net. So when we are looking here, we've got a couple different things. This is like a soup can, right? We talked a little bit before about Campbell's soup cans. You've got a top and you've got a bottom, and you've got the part that goes around. So it creates a rectangle in the middle. So when we are looking at the surface area or the area of a circle, we have pi times r squared. All right, so we're going to go, let's see where we can write it up here maybe. Pi times r squared. So we know that pi is 3.14 times 3.14 times 8 is the radius squared. So times 8 times 8. Okay, we're going to punch that in the old calculation system. That's going to give us what? Take a second and do it. Okay, you're done. Perfect. 200.96. Okay, so we know our area here in this one is 200.96 centimeters squared, right? Areas like that. Same thing down here, 200.96. That's a little messy. Centimeters squared. So let's just jot that down here. So we got it, 206. Now, when we're looking at the rectangle here, we know that the area for that is length times width. So we've got one of those, but we're missing the other. It just says L. But we know down here that the length of the rectangle is the circumference of the circle. Because remember, if we undo it here and we unwrap this whole thing, if we took this and laid it flat, that would be the same as this length. So if we look back up here, we see circumference of the circle is pi times diameter. So if we went, instead of length, if we went pi times diameter times width, or you might, if it's a soup can, it might be going up and down. So you might call it height. Okay, pi times diameter times the height of the soup can, or the cylinder. Not only soup cans, there's many things that are cylinders. So let's try this. We got 3.14 times our diameter. So we know that if our radius equals 8, we need 2 of those. So if half is 8, the other half would also be 8. So if I went 8 times 2 is going to be a diameter of 16. So 3.14 times 16 times the height, which we know, which is 11. Now, again, I can't do that one in my head, so I've calculated it out here. It's going to give us 552.64 centimeters squared. So I would bring that down here. 552.64 centimeters squared. So we're going to add this all up here together. 200.96 plus 200.96 plus 500.64 equals a grand total of what? Thoughts? What do you think? Let's estimate 500, 200, 200. 200 plus 200 is 400, plus 500 is 900. That's right. We got like 969664. So a little bit over that. Oops, sorry. 552, not 500.64. 552.64. So now we know 952 plus a little bit. 952.64. Whoops, psych. That was just a test on you, not 952. Cross that out. 954.56 centimeters squared. There we go. So that is taking a look through using our nets. Our nets look a little bit differently when we're doing it like this, but we calculate the area of each circle and then the area of the rectangle. And because the rectangle is a little spicy with the cylinders on top, we need to use our pi diameter and height. So then from there, we're going to take a look from nets, and just like we did with everything else, switch it over and see if we can build a formula from that. So again, just like everything in surface area, there is a super long formula that we're going to use, but it's also pretty easy to find the numbers and punch them in. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so let's dig in. We, even though it's super long, it's not that bad because we know that one part of it is pi times r squared plus pi times r squared. So we already remember that there's a top and a bottom. That's what we're figuring out. And we know that this pi times diameter times height is the rectangle, circle, circle, rectangle, which normally would be length times width, but because we don't know the length, it's a circle. We got to use our fancy pi times diameter times height. So let's take a look at one and see what it looks like. So we will start with writing out our formula here. So we have surface area equals pi times r squared plus pi times r squared plus pi times diameter times height. So, reminder, if there's no multiply in there, you can definitely put the multiplications in there, but remember, I'm a lazy mathematician sometimes, and so I want to try to, if I can just take that out, I'm good. I can write a little bit less. I'm okay with that. So, I've got pi is 3.14. Whoops. Every time I do that, 3.14 times the radius. We are given the radius, so times 15, and remember we're squaring, so times 15. Then we've got the same thing, 3.14 times 15 times 15 plus, we probably should just, we can bracket these just for a little simplicity, plus 3.14 times diameter. Oh, we are given the radius. So how do we figure out the diameter from there? Have you thought about it? Have you pondered it? You're not just waiting? Good. We have 15 on one side. So the full way across is going to be another 15. So 15 plus 15 is going to be 30 times, and our height is 6. Okay, so let's math this out. 3.14 times 15 times 15 equals 706.5. And it's going to be the same on the other side. And then we're going to have 3.14 times 30 times 6 equals, oh, I forgot our other one, 706.5 plus 565.2. Let's add that up. Plus 706.5 plus 706.5 equals 19. Let's double check that. 706.5 plus 706.5 plus 565.2. 1978.2. Is that what you got? Centimeters squared. Okay. Let's take a look down at the next one. This one's a little bit different, but a lot of the same. So we have got our height, but our cylinder is on its side, so it looks more like a length, but that's okay. And we have our whole way across. So this time we have our diameter. So I'm just going to label that so I remember. So I've got surface area equals pi r squared plus pi times radius squared plus pi times diameter times height. So I got 3.14 times, what was our radius again? Oh man, if we know the diameter, okay, but we don't know the radius, our radius is, remember, our diameter is all the way across, we just divide that by 2. So radius is diameter divided by 2. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5. 3.14 times 5 times 5 plus the same thing again. 3.14 times 5 times 5. Okay. Plus 3.14 times, now we know the diameter, we can just put that straight in. 10 times, what is our height? Our height is 20. So let's try this out. 3.14 times 5 times 5 equals 78.5. And I know this is going to be the exact same. It's the same circle plus 3.14 times 10 times 20 equals 628. So we've got 628 plus 78.5 plus 78.5 equals, whoa, that's weird, 785. 785 what? Let's double check. Centimeters. Centimeters. What? We're working with area squared. Okay, solid. Let's take a look at the word problem here. I love word problems. They're so juicy. And it makes us think a lot more than just punching in the numbers. And when we think, that's when we learn. So let's go. A manufacturer produces a can with a height of 7. Let's just mark this in for fun. 7 and a diameter of 5. Okay, what is the surface area of the label? It's bolded and underlined. So we're not looking for the surface area of the entire cylinder. We're just looking for the label. So let's look up here for a second at what we know. If we are looking at our formula, we know that our surface area has the circle plus the circle plus the rectangle. If we are looking at the label is the rectangle, right? So we don't need to worry about this part right now or this part right now. We just gotta worry about the label part. So pi times diameter times height. Okay, pi times diameter times height. Let's see what we know. 3.14 times, what is our diameter? Do we know the diameter? Do we know the radius? Which one is that 5 again? Oh, it's the 5. So times 5 times height of 7 equals 3.14 times 5 times 7 equals 109.9. What are we in here? Centimeters. And we are in centimeters squared. So that gives us just the can. If we wanted the top and the bottom, we need a little bit extra. Sorry, not just the can, just the label. So all we need to do is pull out that equation, just pull out the length times width or the pi times diameter times height, and that will help us out with that. So surface area of cylinders, Hopefully that wasn't too bad. We've got a circle and a circle and a rectangle. We just need to figure out the surface area of each of them. You can utilize nets if you want. You can utilize the formula if you want. Whatever you think works best for you. So if you have a question that you need to rewatch the section, please feel free to do that. If you need to send me a message to get some help with that, please do. If you are all good with it, fantastic. Okay, you can drop into our help sessions if you need some help with that. Other than that, we miss you. We hope you take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon. I can't find the button to stop this. I was going to trim that out, but it'll be kind of funny.